Right, welcome everybody to another episode of the Love Island Cast. I am one of your hosts, Chris Phelps, and my co-host and special guest yet again is Joe Russell from I Secretly Recorded My Boyfriend podcast. Thank you so much for coming on again, Joe.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Lots to talk about. Lots of romance to talk about.
There is, Joe, there is. And David, he's not here. He was hoping he'd be back, but something's came up at work, so he can't make it. But we do have a voicemail from my tag team partner. So I did say I missed him on the last episode, but I didn't say it too loud, hopefully. So, yes. Where do you want to start, Joe?
Well, I mean, I have to say, I don't normally enjoy the date night episodes, and we've had 2 over the last 2 nights. And I've been, again, like with a lot of episodes this series, I've been up, I've been down, I've been, are they faking this? Did they know? Are they really on safari? I just don't know if I can get my head round whether these, at this stage in Love Island, it's all staged. For example, Mike and Priscilla get this call, and by the way, that the text noise would not wake me up in a million years.
Yeah.
It's the dead of night, they get a text, they suddenly go on safari, the rest of the villa wake up, and was it Jess who went, this was 2 nights ago, who said something like, oh, I bet they've gone on a safari because Mike wants to see the big 5 animals. And I thought, oh, no, yes. Come on. This is not a natural conversation.
No, you know what, Joe? I'm so glad you brought this up because last night I threw a tweet out and I'm thinking, Demi and Luke-Em did the same thing, and we were sat there and I was like, I'm not buying this bullshit for 1 minute that they've just, no one else in this room hears the text but them 2. And don't get me wrong, they look like they're half asleep, but you're like, fuck off. And you know what? The Jess thing, I did see it and hear it on the night. I not even thought about that till you just said it, Joe. And you know what? It's so premeditated bollocks. It's like the whole thing with these dates, and you are right, is believing who's real and who's not. It's just a fucking sales pitch to who wins the show on the last episode for me.
And I think they all know that now too. Even if it's not staged by the producers, I feel like they know that they ain't getting to the final unless they've gone exclusive, as Jess and Ched did. They're not boyfriend and girlfriend, but they are exclusive. Explain that one to me, because I don't know how that works.
No, I still don't get that. Like we were saying about all this big Disney fun fair and stuff with Shanice, I don't even know what that means. I mean, if you're exclusive, you are a boyfriend and girlfriend. I don't get what it is. If you were having an open relationship, then it explains itself, doesn't it? You basically see other people, and then when you get together, you're back together. But I'm with you, Joe, completely. Now, I do want to say, though, Joe, out of all the dates, we've given Mike Pelters, I respect the fact that he asked her to be his girlfriend, Priscilla, on the date. There was no bullshit. There was no notes. There was no fake text. He just asked her. All right, he might have been edged that way to say, look, we can't just keep doing all these random stuff, come to the villa and do a hopscotch and stand on your leg for 3 minutes. Someone's going to be stood on the corner to greet you, bollocks. But I've been watching it for far too long, Joanna. But I respect the fact that he did, and I did throw a tweet out. But I tell you who I'm not on board with at all, and I've really gone off them completely. He's Demi and Luke-Em. I like Luke-Em, and Demi, I know I've called her, but they are not compatible, and there is nothing between them as far as I can see.
My favourite bit of their date was when they were talking about whether they're compatible and whether it will continue when the TV show's over. And he said, oh, yeah, as long as we make the effort, And then she went, oh, you're going to come and see me in Portsmouth? And he went, no, not Portsmouth. I'll go as far as London. That's true love, guys. That's love right there.
It is. And to be fair, I did attempt a long-distance relationship many years ago, Manchester to Swansea. And it lasted about a month. But anyway, let's move on, Joe. But anyway, it doesn't work. Not that far. And Portsmouth's even further because he's in Teesside, isn't he? Middlesbrough. So that's going to be a good 400, maybe 350, 400 miles, roughly.
Oh, it's it's simply not happening. Do you think though that they genuinely think it might, because they're in this bubble and they've been in this bubble for a month or whatever they've been in now? Do you think that they are just young and they genuinely think it might work? I can't even work that out this year.
No, I'm with you on that. And I think Finn was a telltale sign with Paige. I believe there's something there. I know I've been quite cynical and I've called them, little things here and there, as I like to do. But I think there's something there. But when Finn was talking about, I'm going to get a wee dog and I'm going to move up there and I'm going to do this. And I'm thinking, but what is your job? What are you going to do? Because like anything, Joe, your relationship, our relationship, you're thinking, well, you've got work is going to come in the way of that relationship one way or the other. You are not going to be able to spend 24/7 unless you win the lottery or you become very, very lucky and end up with a TV show together. Like me and Sam, I don't know if you watch it, but you remember Alex and Alex, he's a good looking lad, the Brummy lad he got with Olivia.
Yes, yeah.
Season 2, was it season 3? And I remember he failed a lie detector test. And they were like, saying he didn't love her in that. Well, they're together. They're loved up. They've got a show on, I think it's Living or something like that. Me and Sam have watched it recently. It's a current show. And they work together. They've got a merchandising company. They still model and all that stuff. Both do modeling. So they're still together. So as much as on the show, it was like, you failed a lie detector test. It's bullshit. He doesn't love you. 2 or 3 years later, they're married. The families are there. The show's quite good, to be fair. I know there's going to be spin on it, but they are a relationship that makes it work. I honestly can't see geographically, other than maybe Molly and Callum, and I know Jamie and Natalia, and they're never going to be together, but they live quite close. What you're saying,
surely they've already split, right?
Yeah, I mean, that was as soon as the suitcases got zipped up on it, they were gone. Them two. But yeah, I don't know about you, Joe, but I always think about real life because this is a story we're being told and a show, and oh my God, they're together and all the other stuff that comes with it. I just don't believe that geographically people are just going to uproot at 20 years old. I contemplated it before I was with my Sam, and it was just nonsense. I look back now and just cringe at myself, going, "You dickhead," But it's just one of them things. Of
course it is. Yeah, it's all a big learning curve, isn't it? Here's my question: Luke and Shanice have said the L word.
Yeah, and I've got to say, and it's on Dave's voicemail, so I don't want to ruin his fun there, but he thinks they stole their dance moves from a certain TV show from the 90s and early 2000s, I might add. But the dance moves, Joe, were bang on, and I do think there is something there, and she was genuinely cooing over him when they were having that date. Whatever he's fabricated in it, I do think that was sincere.
They've won it, right? I think after the last 2 episodes, with the dancing and with the I love you, and she really, I still not made my mind up about him, but she really believes that this is the fantasy, that this is the one, and they've said they love each other, and it's all amazing and it's all beautiful, and I think they've won it on the strength of the last 2 episodes alone.
Yeah, and you know what, Joe, I'm completely with you, because I also think as well, which is quite interesting, is the dynamic of them. And I think Shanice is the one person that's gone from completely, I mean, I suppose now if I listen back at the first few weeks, me and Dave were ripping her to pieces because she was just annoying, opinionated, she was throwing herself at me. She's had a great journey on this series. And I think she's turned it round to the point where you're thinking, you know what? You're probably one of the most genuine people in the actual house. I don't think there's many. I think there's 2 or 3 that are genuine. The rest of them, I just think, are playing the game. But I think Shanice is more than one of them. And I don't think Luke T is playing a game at all. I agree there's something not there, but I just think he seems sweet on her. I'd hope that he stays together. I agree. I mean, Dave's called that out a few times, but I do think personally I wouldn't be unhappy if they won. I genuinely wouldn't. And I genuinely think they probably do deserve it. I think you're right.
Because I think she's the only one who really means it. With my cynical old head on, I'm not totally sure that it can last. But, like you've said, from other series, there are the odd couple that has made it work. So I just hope for her sake, because she is so full of wonder and love about this, and she so wants it to work, and I believe her. She's the only one I now believe. Like all the others, fine, they've all got their great points, they're fun and they've brought stuff to the villa, that's fine, but I do not believe their relationships at all.
No, and I think you're right. Now, Joe, I do want to talk about the talent show, but if it's
Oh, yeah.
okay, let's play Mr. Horrocks' voicemail. Okay, so here we go.
Hey, Chris and Joe. Sorry I can't be there today. I'm afraid I got held up with work. Joe, just want to say your boyfriend's Caribbean accent from the last episode had me in stitches. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, we're definitely on to the wind down now, aren't we? It's not that exciting. I don't have that much skin in the game with these dates that they have. Do have to say a couple of funny bits, highlights of the season for me. Paige whacking herself in the face with a mic while she's trying to be all sexy. Also, on a similar theme, Luke T and Shanice's dance had me in stitches. That was pure Monica and Ross from Friends doing the routine. Okay, looking forward to hearing the recording, guys. Have fun, and I'll catch you again soon. Bye now.
Now, Joe,
he's so right. Isn't
right.
he right about it? Yeah, he is.
And I've got a couple of your shows behind, so Dave's just ruining that episode now, Joe. So thanks, Dave. So anyway, I've got to say, there's no way that Luke T and Shanice, Joe, had not spent a lot of fucking time practicing that. That was absolutely choreographed. They were brilliant. I thought the moves were brilliant.
I thought it was excellent. Actually, didn't she say something about she really loved their work ethic on it or something like that? I can't remember the exact phrase she used, but I thought, yeah, good on you, girl. You've sat him down and you've gone, we will rehearse this dance and we will be winning the talent show, even though they deserved to win but didn't.
Yes, exactly. I agree. I find that strange. How the hell did Ched and Jess win it?
I mean, they didn't really, did they? They just were the next ones to go in the hideaway, essentially.
Yeah, it was just fucking bizarre, completely bizarre. And I tell you what, they don't show some of the stuff they used to show on Love Island, but it did get a bit racy between them two.
You could well, here's the thing about them going in the hideaway, which I cannot understand, and I'd love to hear what other girls think. Maybe I'm, again, just old and frumpy now. But when they're getting ready for the hideaway, and they're going, oh, let me put this lingerie on. And what Jess wore was beautiful. I thought she looked stunning. But when she goes out to greet Ched and then gives all the other boys a little flash, I think, well, no, cover up and then reveal in the hideaway. But they've all gone like, oh, yeah, look at my underwear. And I think, oh, my God, this feels a bit weird.
Yeah, and that's what Dave said, to be fair, when Shanice got funny, because Luke had said we were naked, and Dave had said, I didn't pick up on it, but Dave said, well, she just flashed herself to all the lads. And you're right. You're totally right. They've done the same thing. One thing I did find strange, Joe, and I mean, Dave, like I say, we were in a band, we weren't pros and that, but you always have an eye or an ear, an eye. That's probably why I'm not in a band anymore, because I've got an eye for music, but we always have an ear for music. And I was a singer. I wasn't the greatest singer in the world. And there is talk, actually, Joe, of a comeback at some point this year, potentially for myself.
Well, I'll be there, darling. I'll be there.
Yeah. You may be the only one, Joe, but anyway. But, thank you for the support, though. But we said we may be doing a bit of a comeback gig. And I'm listening to it, and you got Mike plays the drums, which to me sounded offbeat completely. And I know I don't know about you, but when I watch X Factor and that, sometimes you can hear it and the acoustics are so mono, they're not in stereo. And I've done it where people have recorded me, and because you just pick the voice up because it's a vocal like recorder, sometimes like, oh my God, that sounds terrible. But when people are there, like, oh, that sounds fucking brilliant. And I know that's what it is. So I give them a bit of slack because I've been there myself, but people have gone, that's fucking shit, Chris. Either that or I actually am shit. But probably the latter. But generally, he was offbeat on the drums completely to me. It didn't make sense what he was playing. He was completely off timing. I couldn't work it. I'm sure he's a good drummer. Then obviously Finn was just taking the piss. And then I was a bit cringe with Paige because I know Paige has been on X Factor and stuff, and she's done all Britain's Got Talent. She did it a few years ago, and she's a bit of a wannabe, like most of them are, where she's been on literally everything to try and get an audition and try and get in the spotlight. She can sing, great voice, but I was a little bit, this is fucking Vic Rees and Bob Mortimer. You know, I'm going to go, it's like, oh, no, don't need the karaoke shit. You're a great singer, but I was just like, I'm not sure. I don't know. It just seemed proper cringe to me. And please correct me if you felt different, honestly.
I thought the minute Paige started singing, and I genuinely thought she was okay. I thought she was good. Well, compared to the rest of the talents that they all thought they had, she was good. And I thought, oh, yeah, she's just on here to get a recording deal. And that made me go, yeah, not so bothered about her and Finn. Not that I was ever too bothered, but it really made them go down the chart for me, because it just made me go, yeah, she just wants a recording deal here. This is all she wants. And this whole talent thing is set up for her. She was at the end, she was the big finish, and she was doing this song, and it just made me a bit cynical about her.
Yeah, and Joe, you know what? I'm so glad you said that, because as you were saying it, I'm fist pumping, thinking, God, because if I said it, people are going to be going, it's just fucking Chris being sexist there, because he's a bloke, he's a singer, I wasn't. The only thing I would say, which you are correct, and I can see it coming, and I could be completely wrong, is she does a song on the After Sun to take the whole series off. When they go back to the villa and they have that thing. Right. Whether they do it this year, I'm not sure because of the events. It may be, I don't know, but they usually do a sort of finale show, don't they, where everyone comes in. They probably won't now because of what's happened. But if they do, I can see her leading everybody out, win, lose or draw.
Oh, good Lord. I'll tell you what we've not mentioned, and it really deserves a little bit more credit than leaving it till this time in the podcast, Demi's history quiz.
My word, I know that poor woman was in an oral sex competition. Once in the first question, like, where the fuck have you got these questions from?
Why is this I didn't understand why it was a talent. I was very confused while that was going on.
It was, but why would you even think at any stage in your life, if anybody would even think that was a great quiz, unless you fucking levered with your mates? Your family are not going to sit there going, oh, was she had sex with many men, or did she have? It's like, well, what a random question. It
was so odd, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Now, Joe, I've got a couple of emails, right? But one of them is from our listeners, James, right? And he's calling me out, and I don't know. I honestly don't think I can take this challenge up, because Dave nudged me and went, "Just have a read of the emails, mate." And I read it. I was like, "Oh, you dick! This is where Chris should never open his mouth ever again." So here, Joe. This one says, "Love Island last year, and I quote: If any of these are still together in 6 months, Dave, I'll eat my bollocks." Now, obviously, Joe, it wasn't Dave. The second dates episode, I put that on. And then he's put, "What do you make of Curtis and Maura and Tommy and Molly May still being together?" Do you reckon any of this year's couples could stay together? So we've answered. Huge fan of the show, James. I was thinking, fucking hell, Chris. I don't even think I'll get anywhere near him, Joe, and I certainly don't want to try anyway. So
here's your get out, Chris. Here's your get out clause. When you said that you would eat the bollocks, were Tommy and Molly in a relationship, and were Curtis and Maura in a relationship? Because if it was early in the series, they were both with other people.
No, I think it was the dates. That's what he just said.
Oh. Oh, well, yeah, we need you on Insta stories or something, darling.
The podcast will be shut down. That'll be it forever. We'll never do another one.
Do the video, Chris. You made the promise. Now, come on.
I did a video many years ago, Joe. In fact, no, hang on. Before I go any further, it's not a dodgy one. But I did on a radio station called Key 103. I did win a trip to Australia, I think I've mentioned before, where I had to do the Bush Tucker trials. I had to eat live witchetty grubs, locust, and then the finale was me and this lady, like a knockout thing. And I had to eat 2 kangaroo eyeballs, which... it wasn't the best. Luckily, not luckily, it's been taken off YouTube for some reason, because they rebranded the Key 103, which was a massive show, but it was there from 2010, Joe. So I'm not adverse to eating anything, but I'm sure I can't even stretch to my own, you know what. Yeah. Shocking.
Well, for me, Chris, a promise is a promise now.
Right, Joe, you're not coming on here again, have you? So what do you think then for Sunday's final, Joe? Where do you think we're going to go with this?
Yeah, I just think, like we've said, I think Shanice for me is the only one that really wants to find love, and she'd just be so thrilled and happy if this is real. And I just think they've got it in the bag. I do. I wonder if Paige and Finn have done enough now that they'll get to the final because they've been the longest actual couple. So maybe they'll get there too, and possibly, I don't know who else. I mean, is it 3 in the final?
I think we
Four.
get, it might be 1 tonight. Is there 5 couples now, is there? I can't remember. Fucking useless. How many times I've watched this show? But I think 1 gets voted off tonight, and then we end up with 4, and 2 get taken out straight away, don't they? Pretty much. So you're left with 2 couples, because obviously it's all on a live, and that could be interesting, you know, because are they going to do it like on a live stage format like they have done in the past, where the villa gets taken over? Because they wouldn't want anybody telling them, obviously, the tragic events. I wouldn't have thought. You know,
because I think that it will have to be done differently because of that.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And fair enough. And actually, do you know what we could do with it being a bit different? Because like they did the minute that the lads started an undercover mission yesterday, I thought, oh, this series actually has been exactly the same games, exactly the same storylines, exactly the same format. And yes, it's different people, but you know, maybe for the final, it would be nice to have a bit of a different feel to it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm with you on that. Just to finish it all off slightly different, because obviously it's going to come back on in June. And I mean, Dave's, well, to be honest though, Joe, Dave's really happy because the US one, they said spring, and he was thinking, fuck me, we're going to go straight into the US one again. Because last year we were doing the US and the UK one simultaneously, and it was unbelievably draining. The editing, oh my God. Imagine. But it's May, but I think the US one's going to cross over into the UK one. And luckily, I'm going away at the start of June, so Dave's going to be fucked when he's doing this with you or anyone else. He's going to be.
Yeah, I just think the only worthy winner is Shanice, and she happens to be with Luke, so let's let him win too. But I was the same last year. I really liked Amber by the end of it. I really wanted her to win, and you know, I'm a big Amber and Ovi fan. Yes. Like, I genuinely think that there's such a lovely friendship there that I wish they were a couple too. And I'm sure she gets this all the time because I see her going, stop now guys, stop, I'm not with Ovi. But I didn't care who she was with, and Greg seemed nice enough at the time, and you know, and I think I'm the same with Shanice. I think she'll be a worthy winner. I think she'll be goosebumpy and have a breakdown and be what love is. I think she will just be that gooey mess if she wins. And I think we need it. And so I want her to win. And I think it's a shoo-in.
Yeah, I do. And the cynic in me, as much as I believe it, would say, Joe, and it's horrible to say because I'm going to contradict everything I've said.
Are you eating your own bollocks again?
Yeah, I could be. I'm not making any statements in this show. Yeah. Is that by saying the love word, you are pretty much nailed on, because no one else has said it in the villa. And when they were mentioning it, when the lads were talking and they were taking the piss out of Finn, saying, oh, he said love, and he went, I fucking didn't. Stuff like that. It sounds stupid. Yeah. People are going to vote with their hearts because we've had the full sales picture dates. The little cynic in me still says, is it a bit of a game? As much as I said earlier, I do believe they like each other and probably love each other in that respect. It's still a great tactic if they wanted to go and win the show.
I genuinely, and I think you're right. I think they all know what they're doing now, and I think they've all had to make some sort of commitment on the dates just to get to the final, or so they think they do. But I think she genuinely believes it. Not necessarily she is in love, because it feels a bit silly, but I think she believes she is, and out of all of them, that's enough for me this year.
Yeah. No, it's great, Joe. Honestly, really, really good. And honestly, again, you've been a star coming on. The SOS bat signal went out, and you've come on and rescued the podcast again, and you're a great guest. Really, honestly, absolutely love it. And you know, if you ever need a cocky, mouthy Mancunian, I'll try not to swear on your shows or anything, I am always available for selection. Don't you worry about that.
I'm telling you right now, we swear on all our shows, so we don't worry about that.
Oh, that'd be great. Yes, I won't have to worry then. Well,
you're the perfect fit.
We've done a podcast for 2 years, me and Dave, and we were like, we don't want to swear. This comics one we do, Comics Emotion, and we were like, no swearing, let's try and do it. And I tell you what, it was an absolute, how many times I didn't swear. And I used to say on the show at one point, I'm not going to swear, which really meant I wanted to go fuck, but I couldn't, you know. But no, thank you, Joe. You've been absolutely amazing. And where can everybody get the podcast again?
At @recordedboyf is our social media stuff. Search for I Secretly Recorded My Boyfriend wherever you get your podcasts, and we're on there. And yes, there is a very dodgy Caribbean accent in the latest episode, which I will apologise up front for.
Well, you've heard me and Dave do some of our impressions, Joe, so I don't think you're going to be too bad. Don't worry about that. I think it'll be fine. I'll have to get on that this afternoon so I know what everyone's talking about. But I know.
That's great. Thanks, darling. Lovely to talk to you, and look forward to Dave coming back as well.
Yeah, he should be back on Sunday. And if you want to get in contact with us, guys, as usual, @Love Island Cast. And if you want to email in, the loveislandcast@gmail.com. And you have no excuse not to follow and give Joe's podcast a listen, because it is really funny.
Thank you.
No, honestly, and I genuinely mean that. So thanks, Joe. And we will see everybody on Sunday. And Joe, we will see you through the summer. And if you do get a chance, I may be able to throw some sort of links to the US podcast, the Love Island show, if you need it. But I will definitely be on.
You were going to say, I will send you a link to that video I'm about to go and record in my bedroom.
Now, I do yoga every day, but I'm going to have to be some fucking flexibility to do that. But anyway. Oh my God, it couldn't even bear thinking. But yeah, thank you, Joe.
Nice to talk to you, darling. Have a good last few episodes.
See ya.